The film opens with a young girl trapped within a confined space. Soon after, cement begins to pour in from all sides, leaving her unable to escape. She is buried alive. The story then jumps ahead 15 years, where we meet Sam, a recent engineering graduate. At her graduation celebration, her father, who owns a demolition company, surprises her with a job offer, supervising the demolition of a remote building. If she succeeds, she'll become his business partner. Her first task is to oversee the demolition of a massive, uniquely designed apartment building created by Joseph Malestraza, an architect known for his fascination with Egyptian design. Upon arriving at the Malestraza building, Sam is welcomed by Mary, the caretaker, and her son Jimmy, who tends to keep to himself. Sam informs Mary that she'll be staying in one of the apartments. Jimmy helps her with her luggage and explains the building's rules, warning her to avoid the 8th floor, which belongs to Malestraza, and the roof due to safety concerns. As she walks to her apartment, she notices a door labeled Julie's. After settling in, she takes a bath to refresh herself. Later, she asks Mary how many residents are still in the building, to which Mary replies that only 4 people remain. Mary and Jimmy are there to maintain the building until it is demolished, as the other tenants have been evicted, except for 2 who refuse to leave. The following day, Sam sets out to assess the building's structure. She is tasked with preparing a report on the amount of TNT required for demolition, including identifying optimal rupture points and types of explosives. After a few hours, she visits a convenience store to buy supplies. Out of curiosity, she borrows a computer to research the apartment building's history and uncovers a chilling fact. In 1993, several people went missing. When they were discovered, it was a gruesome scene. 16 individuals, including men, women, and children, were found sealed in small compartments and entombed in concrete. Among the victims was the architect, Malestraza himself. Initially, a construction worker was accused of the murders but was later exonerated, leaving the case unsolved and the true perpetrator unknown. Back at the building, Sam continues marking the best rupture points for demolition when she is startled by a man running at her with an axe. This man turns out to be one of the remaining tenants who is against the building's destruction. That evening, Jimmy secretly takes Sam to the 8th floor, which is off-limits. He shares stories about Malestraza, revealing that the architect died within the walls of the building. He shows her the spot where Malestraza's body was discovered, noting that it was nearly unrecognizable due to the cement. His mother, Mary, was the one who identified him. Jimmy also mentions that among the 16 victims was a young girl named Julie, the same child seen at the film's start, who lived in the room Sam noticed earlier. He adds that his own father was also among the victims and takes her to see the wall where his father was found. Suddenly, the lights go out, and in her panic, Sam injures her leg. Later, as Jimmy cleans her wound, he begins to caress her thigh, revealing his interest in her. However, Sam tells him to stop. That evening, as Sam gazes into the mirror, she notices the glass behind her shaking violently. When she lifts the mirror, she sees blood pouring from a hole. Suddenly, she is yanked into the wall, waking up to find herself trapped inside. Cement starts to pour in from all directions, and as she screams, she jolts awake, realizing it was just a nightmare. Unable to fall back asleep, she wanders around her apartment. Out of nowhere, something startles her, but it turns out to be her boyfriend, Peter, who has come to surprise her. Sam shows Peter around the apartment, and they sneak up to the 8th floor. While exploring, they stumble upon a hidden passageway. Sam ventures down it and discovers a secret room that allows someone to observe the apartments without being seen. She realizes that Jimmy has been watching her while she bathes. When she confronts Mary about it, Jimmy, embarrassed, walks away. Later that evening, Peter suggests that Sam should leave the next day, and she agrees. As they spend time together that night, Jimmy watches them with growing jealousy. The following day, as Sam packs her belongings, she also finalizes a report detailing the amount of TNT needed for demolition. Before she leaves, Jimmy apologizes for spying and presents her with a gift, a journal belonging to Malestraza, the architect. Reading it, Sam learns that there must be a large open space at the center of the building. Jimmy heads to the roof to search for an entrance to this hidden area, but fails to return. Concerned, Sam and Peter go after him, discovering a large shaft in the building's center. They hear Jimmy calling for help from below, saying he's hurt. Sam has Peter lower her down into the shaft with a rope. Everything goes smoothly at first, but then Peter is suddenly struck by something sharp. As a result, Peter dies in front of Sam, who is horrified by the sight. She falls to the bottom of the shaft and wakes up to find herself not alone. A mysterious figure is with her. To her shock, it's Mallestraza, the architect she believed was dead and entombed in the wall. He reveals that he has been trapped there all along, holding a radio. The recording on the radio features Jimmy's voice asking for help, indicating that the voice Sam heard earlier was pre-recorded by him. Soon, Jimmy sends her a letter from above, stating that he is keeping her down there until she learns to love him. He also mails her demolition report to her father and sinks her car in a lake to create the illusion that Sam has gone on vacation with her boyfriend. In the shaft, Mallestraza unveils a shocking truth. He was the mastermind behind the murders of the 16 people found buried in the walls. He believes that the secret to the durability of ancient Egyptian structures lies in rituals performed during construction, which involved entombing living victims within the walls. To ensure his buildings would last forever, he buried people alive inside them. He also reveals that one of the victims was Mary's husband. In retaliation, Mary decided to imprison Mallestraza in the shaft forever. She deceived everyone into believing that another victim's body was Mallestraza's, making it seem as though he had died, all to keep him as her own prisoner. After the shocking revelation, Jimmy returns to the hole and sends down a cassette tape. Mallestraza plays it, and Jimmy's voice expresses a desire to see Sam and Mallestraza dance. Mallestraza tells Sam they must follow Jimmy's orders, explaining that while Jimmy can be nice, he can also be very cruel if they disobey. Reluctantly, Sam agrees to dance, but when Jimmy instructs them to kiss, she refuses. Mallestraza then pulls her close and forces a kiss on her. Just moments later, Jimmy tells them to stop and threatens Mallestraza not to touch Sam again. As a reward for their compliance, Jimmy sends down a basket filled with food, water, and a two-way radio, instructing Sam to keep it with her for communication. Later that night, Mary arrives at the roof. Sam cries out for help, shocking Mary to see her in the hole with Mallestraza. Angrily, Mary confronts Jimmy, reminding him that the space is meant for the architect, not for anyone else. She realizes that Sam must stay with Mallestraza. Otherwise, she'll report everything to the police, which would leave Jimmy an orphan. In the afternoon, Sam's father and his demolition team arrive at the apartment after receiving her report and begin setting up explosives. Meanwhile, Sam remains trapped with Mallestraza, attempting to seduce Jimmy in hopes of being freed before the explosion, but her efforts fail. Mallestraza advises her to conserve her energy. He then starts digging a tomb he has designed, with pipes connected to the cement tank. Mallestraza believes that if an additional person is buried alive when the demolition occurs, the building will remain standing. He decides to sacrifice himself to save the structure and asks Sam to kill him. After some hesitation and taunting, she ultimately does, and he thanks her as he falls into the tomb, which begins to fill with cement. Outside the building, Mary tries to keep Jimmy calm as they prepare and start installing the explosives. As the countdown begins, Jimmy has a change of heart. He calls out for Sam and rushes toward the building. Sam's father orders them to halt the countdown. She is then pulled from the hole and taken to an ambulance. Mary is arrested for her involvement in the kidnapping of Mallestraza. In the film's closing narration, Sam reflects on Mallestraza's legacy, noting that he constructed 27 buildings, all of which still stand. He regarded this apartment building as his masterpiece and was determined to prevent its demolition, even sacrificing himself for it. As a tribute to his memory, the building will remain intact, preserving his legacy. What do you think of the movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below, and make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell icon to stay updated on our future videos. Your feedback and suggestions are invaluable to us, so if there's a specific movie you'd like us to recap, please let us know in the comments. We love hearing from our viewers and want to provide content that you truly enjoy. Thank you once again for your continued support. Until our next adventure together, keep watching, keep sharing, and keep spreading the love for movies.